Hi, guys. I do expect you to get journals done every week. So, therefore, I'm kind of looking at these and being a little bit worried. Now, our first journal we actually did together on Monday when we were still together. Now, this one we actually talked about what did you know about 1920s? Like, what are 5 things that you knew? Now, a ton of you guys knew that the World War I had just ended. A bunch of you knew that it was the Jazz Age, and a ton of you guys remembered that it was right before the Great Depression. So at this time, money is being made and the economy is booming. And then it's all going to fall apart in about 9 years. Well, 7 years. The book starts in 1922. Now, our next one, we're talking about how the Irish were treated in America at the very beginning of the 20th century. Now, the fact of the matter is, during this time, we had a thing called eugenics. This particular ideology believed that there were certain inherent qualities that were related to where you came from. So, therefore, you couldn't avoid being a certain way simply because of where you came from. If you were Irish, then you were lazy. And if you were Italian, you were angry. These were extraordinarily racist ideas. Now, a lot of people wonder what happened to these ideas because being Irish and being Italian doesn't mean this anymore. Well, during World War II, we had a national coming together against a huge, huge threat. And we dropped a vast majority of these beliefs, especially after we found out that they were the cornerstone of Nazism. So, when we take a look at it today and you look at some of the cartoons, you'll be appalled. I do apologize, but lying about the history of the United States kind of dooms us to repeat it. So we are honest with ourselves. Now, up next, you had a free write. Now, this was the Wednesday before we left. Some of you guys were already gone. For those of you that didn't know, the first day I was gone, there was 1,000 absences. The next day, there was 1,500. By the end of the week, there was less than 500 students at Turlock High School. Now, this is okay. That's the reason why we're here. A vast majority of you guys did this one and skipped the others. I know you guys wanted to talk about what was going on, especially in your lives, and I will be commenting and letting you guys do little edits if you like. But remember, everything is due by Sunday, please. Thank you. Up next. At the beginning of Great Gatsby, the narrator is having a little trouble feeling completely comfortable in his surroundings. Have you ever entered a new situation that made you feel uncomfortable? How did you feel? How'd you get over it? Tom. Nick is in a really bad position because he grew up rich for where he was, but now he is a very, very small fish in a very large pond. And he's realizing that while his parents are well to do and he gets to have a maid, this is nothing compared to what Daisy and Tom have. Or Gatsby. When we get to Gatsby, when we get to Gatsby. Now, if you were smart and you looked up what Gatsby's home looked like, because they do give us a visual reference, or if you watched my video on it, you get to see exactly how ostentatious, how rich these people are. And they kind of make millionaires nowadays look tame. Now, the cool thing about this is we get to take a look at how uncomfortable he is and how weird the others behave because he walked into a situation that he didn't even understand. I mean, Tom's having an affair and Daisy's kind of kooky. And then for kicks and giggles, Jordan, it seems to just be living with them. So, as we move forward, we're going to be taking a look at how Nick actually reacts to all of this. While he keeps just trying to be extra polite, things don't really go his way all the time. So, be aware. And definitely, I want to hear about the 7th grade dance where y'all decided you weren't going to get anywhere near each other. I do not know what's up with that, but 7th grade dances and cringeworthy are synonymous. Up next, what was your first impression of the characters that they have introduced? How did you get this impression? Make sure you watch today's video for more information. The video that I posted today is a little late. I do apologize. I did post a video, but unfortunately it was immediately taken down because somebody said it was copyright infringement. Unfortunately, they don't have enough in-person editors at YouTube to actually take a look at each one of these violations, and they're just taking things down willy-nilly. So you might actually one day get to see my video, but the new one is up, and since I'm in the corner, try calling copyright on me now, buddy. Now, for kicks and giggles, we get a really weird cast of characters. We have Nick, who went into World War I, never really saw any action, wasn't traumatized, came back, and decided that he wanted to find a life outside of his small Midwest town. So he decides to go to New York and make millions on the stock market, which kind of sounds ridiculous, but you have to understand at this time, people were making tons of money after the war boom. And it was, yes, a very short lived affair. But then we have Jordan, who is really totally, utterly described in very masculine terms. And we know that she's into a sport of some sort, we don't know which, and that she's probably playing golf or tennis. We'll take a look at it later. She also acts extraordinarily snobbish, is very, very well to do, and kind of just lays around the house. We're going to get more to her later. But we also know that she's a huge center of gossip, and she's how we find out about Tom and Daisy's marriage falling apart. Tom and Daisy, which are strangely, nobody cares about Twitter, are strangely still together, even though it's very obvious that they hate each other, like a lot. So we end up with Daisy, who changes and flits between topics over and over and over again. We don't know why she's like this, but we understand that she keeps trying to redirect the conversation away from things that make Tom angry or that might embarrass her. Then we have Tom. Tom. Yeah. We have a gentleman who has a ton of money. First, we understand that he brings an entire team of polo ponies to his home in New York so that he can just play. Who else is playing with him? Why did he need an entire team? It doesn't make a lot of sense. He doesn't ask any questions when he meets Nick. He just tells him, "This is my great house. It's awesome." And then let's go inside. That's kind of an odd beginning to an evening. We also know that he has a mistress who is starting to call the house. And when he has a muffled but angry discussion with her over the phone and hangs up on her, she tries to repeatedly call again. And then the entire party has to sit there and kind of try to ignore the fact that this is going on. Daisy. Back to Daisy. Then we have Daisy, who is unhappy. And she says is unhappy. And her reactions and her response to things are not exactly what normal people would have. So we're going to have to see how exactly this all works out later. But you tell me, impressions, thoughts, make sure you take a look, make sure you do the work. God love. Talk to you later. Bye. And